Okay, well, it's 12:01. Let's get going so we can end on time too. So welcome everyone to the Monday edition of 15 Minutes of Positivity. On Mondays, I like to do something around mindfulness and just keeping in mind that everything we do here is ultimately about this idea of self-directed positive neuroplasticity. So a quick reminder, what does that mean? Why do we do it? So the truth is our brain is plastic. It is, our nervous system is constantly responding to repetitive experiences and is structurally and functionally changing, meaning the neurobiology changes, the structural, the number of synaptic connections between neurons changes, and it's happening all the time. And so the only really sort of aha or revolutionary concept here that I'm hoping to introduce is this notion that we can direct this ourselves as well, right? We don't have to just wait for luck or fate to shine positivity in our direction. We can actually choose to, just like we are on a daily basis, say, you know what, I'm going to carve out a little bit of time and I'm going to engage in positive behaviors or positive experiences, knowing full well that this is going to affect my structure and function of my brain. So my brain plasticity. So there's this cool virtuous loop that we create where we use our mind to change our brain, which once we change our brain, it in turn changes how our mind works. So it's kind of a mysterious um, yeah, there's a bit of a peculiar loop that goes on here, but we can take advantage of it, and so that's what we're doing here. And one of the areas for us to focus on, in my experience, one of the most profound and simple and meaningful um, mind activities that we can engage in is this concept of mindfulness. So, which is frankly a bit of a misnomer, should be really called mindlessness in a way. But it's the idea that we can drop into a state of awareness where we pay attention to the present moment and everything that comprises that present moment. And we do so without judgment. So the judgment part means that we don't compare to the past, or we don't um, buy into certain expectations. We're literally just sitting there saying, oh, this is what's happening now. And it is what it is. And I don't need to judge it. I don't need to label it good or bad or right or wrong. I can just be with whatever is showing up. And this is surprisingly simple and also really surprisingly difficult to do. Um, so here's what it's not. It's not us avoiding or escaping our reality, right? We're not trying to drop out of the present moment into some space where we say, oh, I just don't, this allows me to avoid that or not deal with it. Um, I'm not suppressing or ignoring emotions. If anything, I'm moving in the opposite direction. I'm moving more towards them and saying, oh, wow, I'm feeling really charged right now. Or I'm feeling really angry. Or I'm feeling a lot of tingling in my body. That's what's up for me right now. So it's really about moving into emotions rather than away from them. And it also is not about emptying the mind of thoughts. So this is a pretty common, I think beginner trap to fall into when we start doing these kinds of meditations. It's like, Ollie, I just can't clear my mind of thoughts. I must be doing something wrong. And the answer is no. All you're doing is you're just watching your thoughts. You're not trying to get rid of them. You're not trying to change them. You're simply watching them and saying, wow, a lot of thoughts going on, and they're of this nature in this moment. Um, yeah, and then the last one's my favorite one. Some way to become enlightened, right? So usually mindfulness is presented as someone sitting in a flowy white gown, feeling or looking all blissed out, as if they're in some space that I'm certainly not. And I'm kind of looking at it going, gosh, that looks wonderful. And you're enlightened. So you must be, this mindfulness thing must be leading you to this place. And it's an unfortunate misperception or misrepresentation of this practice of mindfulness. So without further ado, let's do this for a few minutes. So close your eyes And as always, let's start with grounding. So just noticing our body in contact with the ground. That means if you're sitting in a chair, noticing your feet and your lower back and your glutes and your hamstrings in contact with the chair. You're sitting on the ground as I am. I'm noticing my legs crossed, and actually my entire legs are in contact with the ground. So there's a lot of surface area. And just notice for a second, what's it like to notice the solidity of the ground? What's it like to have a body that has this sensation of sitting or being in contact with the ground? And then just really slowly and gently, just open up your sense of perception to other sensations that your body might be experiencing in this moment. So it could be the temperature of air on your face, the movement of your belly and your chest with each in breath and out breath, the sensation in your hands, and just let those sensations be what they are. I noticed immediately as I focused on the sensation of sitting, this urge to reposition myself or adjust myself. And no, simply noticed it. I just sat with it. I didn't actually act on it. I just let it be. Noticing sensations in your body, and maybe noticing sensations in your mind. Could call those thoughts. And they usually appear as either visuals or memories. There's usually some kind of auditory sensation accompanying thoughts. And for now, just notice them. Get curious, leave them be. Maybe taking note of the fact that part of you that can observe thoughts and can observe sensations is different than the sensations or the thoughts themselves. There are two different things going on. And yet, most of the time, when we think or when we feel something, we act on it as if that represents who or what we are, rather than it being something that we're able to experience as separate from us. being mindful of the experience itself. So noticing sensations in your body or thoughts. And then there's what we call meta awareness, which is being aware of your awareness of those experiences. That doesn't make any sense to you right now. That's okay. Just see if you can stay with noticing experiences. There's a concept you've probably heard before, which is this notion of beginner's mind. So imagine yourself having whatever experience that you're having, whatever sensations or thoughts or ideas. What if this was the first time you took the attitude of encountering these experiences for the first time? So meeting everything with beginner's mind. And you can do that with bodily sensations such as breath. You can imagine yourself really meeting the next full cycle of in and out breath as if it was the first time that you were really observing it today. Really be fully present for all of the sensations involved in the in breath and the switch to the out breath. Maybe just try that for a cycle or two. Then go ahead and take a deep breath in. And on this exhale, go ahead and open your eyes. I'll leave you with this notion of bare attention, which captures the word mindfulness I think, in a really, really good way. It's the Pali word um, for mindfulness, and it is this idea of just paying paying attention without all of the other preconceived notions or ideas or judgments that we usually have around our experiences, and simply becoming aware of whatever it is that's happening as if it were happening for the first time. Again, super simple, hard to do, but it gets easier with practice. So I hope that was the case today. Stick around for another minute or two if anyone wants to connect. Take care, everyone. See you tomorrow. Hope this was helpful.